Hey there, gamer friends. This is Angry Banjo here. We're jumping back into our absolutely and totally utter blind playthrough of Chrono Trigger on PC. I have no idea what we're doing. We're still playing around trying to figure out where it is we're supposed to go. Recently, we were actually locked out of the kingdom. I guess the Kingdom of Zeal is what it was called. So what it is now is I believe we recently got the time machine, which allowed us to go back into this time period. So now we kind of have to figure out where we're supposed to go exactly. I'm not gonna lie, we're still a little lost right now. There's really nothing that we can do about it. I mean, if I really want to, I could look it up online and try to figure it out. Obviously, there's something important that we have to do here, which is obviously an integral part of the story, I feel like, is this area. And as you can see, we fought the thing that was the Mammon Machine. It killed us, and we were locked in. I guess we were locked into something, like the prison thing here, and we were freed by the two children of the Queen. And now it's like we're just sitting here trying to figure out where we're supposed to go. Obviously, the machine here was taken to the Ocean Palace, which is probably where we need to go. So we need to figure out how we're getting to the Ocean Palace. Now, I don't really know. I didn't see it on the map. I saw absolutely no way to actually get to said Ocean Palace. So I guess we're going to have to kind of try and just take a few stabs in the dark here and see if there is a way here. And it looks like we might have actually figured out where we're supposed to go. Looks like Dalton is a little butthurt right now. The Prophet's able to go into the Ocean Palace. Can't wait to see how that turns out. So I guess... I guess he's saying that he was hoping the Prophet would show up, be false and stuff like that, is what I'm guessing. I'm just trying to read into what he's saying. So it looks like we're getting into a fight here with Dalton. Let's see how easy of a fight this is. I feel like Dalton would be like a joke character, like the Yamcha of this game, in terms of being the villain. So let's see what happens. We're just going to hit him real hard real quickly here. Do a triple attack. 1,908 damage. That's a lot of damage. That might be the highest damage we've done in this game, which is impressive. And I've mentioned it before that I hate that Iron Sphere move because it just pisses me off. Because it just constantly lowers your HP over and over and over again. It cuts it in half. So every time he does it, you could be at 323 health. It'll half that. And then it'll have the 191 and so on and so forth that we see here. And it looks like this is actually a pretty easy fight. One took us 2 attacks. That's awesome. And it looks like we opened the portal here. Did that guy die? Because he was talking about immortal life. I don't know what he was referring to, but we're going to hit up the save spot here. Just quickly save our game just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to try to find a pad real quick to kind of fully restore our HP. Because I feel like we're going to be in for one of those... a very, very long slog here. Because I feel like with how things have gone, this does have that end game kind of feel to it. So our goal right now is to find somewhere where we can fully replenish our HP and MP without using a shelter and save the shelters for later on in the game. Now this place could not have it. I mean, it didn't really. We kind of did get hurt hard in that fight. I just wanted to make sure here. Our HP is a little low. And the pseudo 3D aspects of the maps, they do drive me a little crazy here. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely is on the frustrating side, but there we go. Our HP and our MP are fully restored. We're in the early 30s in terms of levels. I wonder if this is gonna be a good enough level for us to be at to really kind of proceed here. I guess we're gonna have to find out whenever we go here. The next portion of the game story, we're gonna hop in this little portal. It's not really a portal like we have. It's kind of like a teleportation, it looks like. And this thing looks highly, highly advanced for the time period we're in. I gotta wonder, though, we went from being like this kind of like magical, technological society in this game to being just like more of like your stereotypical high fantasy world, of course, in Chrono's time period. So it feels like humanity as a whole kind of devolved between the time periods. So obviously something has to have happened that kind of triggered those events. Now I know, you know, anything could happen. Obviously, come on, dude, Banjo, you're dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. And that is true. I really don't know what I'm talking about because I've never played this game before. This is legit a game I have absolutely never played before. And it is kind of funny when you think about that because, like I said, I've never played this before. So, I think we're kind of heading in the right direction here. The ultimate question that we have to ask ourselves is what is going to happen next? What is the next thing that we're going to get ourselves into? Obviously, right now, our goal is to stop the Queen from pretty much going cray-cray. I feel like that might be a little too late. I feel like she probably already is on the cray-cray train. And we're going to get treated to this little fun little cutscene here. Yeah, she's definitely going cray-cray. Yeah, I dare disobey you, girl. It looks like the Queen doesn't have the power required to really, I guess we could say, I don't know what the right word is, but I feel like the Queen doesn't have enough power to make the magic happen, and that's definitely kind of disappointing, I guess, which is why she has to use her child, which is even worse. That she has to use her child to do her dirty work. Like, come on, man. You gotta be a better mother than that. I'm really digging the, what is it? The music, the soundtrack in this section right here. I am digging it. Like, I like how it has that kind of ominous tone to it. You guys can hear it, right? You guys hear this very ominous sound? I feel like we're gonna get like the hard fights here. And I have this like sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. We are about to get like screwed. This is an interesting setup. Like, how could you have lava in an actual, like, I guess we call it like a base of sorts? I don't know if that's the right terminology there, but it kind of feels like that. And the nice thing about having the setup here is you're kind of limited in where you can go. So we're going to kind of try to figure out where we're going right now. And I don't know, this might be a hard fight too. I feel like the big thing here is at this point in the game we've reached... I really do feel like I don't want to say we're in endgame, as much as I feel like we are definitely like kind of closing in on that ending section, because you know a lot of Square Enix titles do have what I would call that like post-game content. You know, they have they have content that is kind of, I don't want to say it's mandatory, but it's definitely you know, additional content. And I don't want to be like, oh man, I definitely feel like we're near the end here if we're not. You see what I'm saying? That's my big concern. I don't know. It feels like we are, but right now we're making sure we have all the best possible equipment equipped to our characters here. I want to make sure our characters have the best possible items as we go through here. I feel like there's going to be a lot of chests in this section of the game, giving us lots of stuff, and I kind of don't want to be getting into as many fights, simply because I'm not sure how many save points we're going to have, how many times we're going to have to use our shelters in order to fully like heal ourselves. And an interesting thing here is, usually when we get into a fight on a map, is the music changes, and we haven't had the music change at all on this map, which is definitely a very interesting thought process here if you guys actually think about it. feel like by the end of this, I'm really going to dislike these specific enemies that we're fighting against. But I can't say for certain, but it looks like these guys are all over the place. Having them be literally all over the place is going to get really annoying. We're going to have to hope that we are going to be fine. Like I said, we're still trying to figure out what we're doing. I mean, it's not really as much trying to figure out what we're doing as much as, you know, getting to where we need to get. And we keep making sure, because we keep getting these chests, and we keep getting, you know, all these new items and new equipment. I gotta make sure everyone is fully equipped and has what they need to have in order for us to really just be able to get through this end game situation. If that makes sense. It might not make sense to anybody here what I'm trying to say. But what I'm trying to say is I want to make sure we're definitely I want to be definitely set, you know. And I feel like throughout this section here, we are going to have a lot of enemy encounters. And this guy's going to put us to sleep. I am really starting to dislike these guys because, oh good, it missed. I feel like we're going to get a lot of those enemies that do that half HP thing, and I don't like that. That is one thing that I absolutely and utterly dislike. I hate that because it comes down, it just messes your day up. And you're constantly... I'm one of those people, I'm very OCD. When we reach a point like this in a game, where I want to make sure that our HP is pretty much at max, or as close to max as possible. Because you never know if we're going to encounter like a mini-boss, a sub-boss, you know, a boss, you know, anything like that. We never know what we're going to encounter. The hell is Shockwave? Oh, it's a weapon for Luca. Nice, okay. I wasn't sure because it just doesn't say what it is. It's just a Shockwave. Here you go. And this looks like a little bit of a puzzle here. It's not, the game hasn't really... Maybe one of my favorite aspects about RPGs as a whole is the fact that the games don't really have what I would consider a lot of actual puzzles. Because a lot of the game requires you to really just think. And I guess it more so... The game requires you to think and use strategy in order to get through the game. You're not going to have anything like intense in terms of puzzles. You might have some stuff, but you're not going to have anything like, oh my god, like we're playing The Legend of Zelda here, and it's going to be insanely hard. Yeah, we're not going to have that at all. And that's why, I think, maybe that's what I like about, I think that's one of the things I probably do like about RPGs, is they don't have an intense set of, I guess, puzzles. I don't mind puzzles. I just, for me, I would rather have more storytelling and not having myself be kind of bound by... I don't want to be bound by, you know, puzzles and not being able to solve them. That to me is like the frustrating part here, is that we're sitting there and we don't know what we're doing. when we have to solve a puzzle, I'd rather have a rich story being told to us, and even if that means, you know, we kind of have to struggle here and there through the stories, not through the stories, but through, wow, I'm like trying to think of the word I'm trying to say, not stories, but trying to slog through battles that we have a hard time with. I don't know, I feel like it requires more brain power to play an RPG. And I'm not saying anything bad about non-RPGs. Like, some of my absolute favorite titles in the last generation were not turn-based RPGs. They were, you know, regular, you know, action RPGs, or just open-world titles like the Spider-Man titles, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima was one of my favorite games for the last generation. These are games that aren't necessarily tied down to the idea of an RPG. So I don't want to make it sound like, oh, he's talking trash about RPGs, let's get him. That's not what I'm trying to do at all. I'm just trying to point out my personal opinion on the genre as a whole. And I prefer games with great stories. You could give me a 15-hour game, like, you know, say we're playing Miles Morales or Uncharted Lost Legacy, where it's not really a full game, but it's still a full enough game. And I can take that, you know, 15-20 hour game and make it longer, because I want to explore. And that's how every game style, you play it a little bit differently. Each type of game style. RPGs are just my bread and butter right now. Like I said, we're trying to figure out where we're going here by looking at this puzzle. It's not really a puzzle as much as trying not to get lost. And right now, it looks like we are not doing that. It looks like right now we are legit, we are legit lost, in sort of speak, because the fact that we're kind of looping around here. I don't mind looping around, but I'm not a fan of it. I really wish I knew where I was going, and of course I don't. We're going to get into more fights, which is fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong about, I guess we could say, getting into these fights. I just wish we knew what we were doing, where we were going, more so than, you know, not knowing. The nice thing about getting these fights is we're going to get experience points, and we're going to level up, and we're going to get, you know, all that fun stuff. So, I mean, I'll take that. That's a nice little trade-off, as opposed to saying, you know, we're not going to get, we're going to kind of throw everything else over to the side. Ultimately, like, when you play an RPG, you want to get maximum level, but I feel like in this game, the one thing is we don't need to be at that max level to beat this game, which is, you know, really nice. But at the same point in time, like, you know, I like being at max level. I'm so OCD about it. And obviously we go this way. No, we already went this way, because you can tell by the empty chest. I'm already, like, getting, like, kind of thrown around here, trying to figure out where we're going. And like I said, this is a cool setup, don't get me wrong. We already were in here, too. Did we go down? We go down. Were we already down here? I don't know. I really don't know if we were down here or not. And like I said, the nice thing is about this is we can actually kind of, like, switch out our party members. So if there's a party member that we don't want to switch out, we can literally do that at the drop of a hat. It's actually really nice. I think it's one of the better things about this game, is some games we really can't, we have to do a lot more in order to, you know, make a switch. And I am eternally grateful that we are actually able to really just, you know, be like, okay, I want to switch Frog with Robo. Boom, a couple, like, clicks on the controller and we do it. I like that. That's actually something I really like. But other than that, you know, the game does have that, you know, I don't want to say maximum like Final Fantasy like feel, because it does have that really Final Fantasy feel, and I know it should because it's, you know, Square Enix, but just going through all these menus, I feel like I spend so much time in the menus trying to figure out what I'm doing and, you know, healing people up. We're going to be checking our... what do we call it? We got to be checking our tech points here, because I figured out that our tech points will tell us how close we are to our next skill that we're going to unlock. And I feel like we are going the right way, because I don't remember getting into this fight before. And that's great. I actually feel like we're making some form of progress. I don't know how long this dungeon is, but if we are like in that area that I think we're in, which would be that near end game situation like I'm talking about, then this is gonna be a pretty damn long section of the game. I think this might actually be like the longest section of the game, if we're thinking about it in terms of, like, you know, it's like, oh wow, so we've reached that section of the game where we're getting to that final boss section, and this is being an older RPG. The boss is gonna have like 20 different forms. They're gonna have like, you know, 5 or 6 battles in a row. We're gonna get screwed. I do feel like, though, this game as a whole is gonna be much more lenient than a Final Fantasy game in this era. I mean, we're talking about this game is over 25 years old when we're playing this, and it really is still a very high quality title so far. I feel like it has aged well. It's one of those games that, you know, we could, you know, sit down and play it all these years later and be like, this is what, you know, I played growing up. This is stuff like this is what I played growing up. Versus what I'm playing now, you know, as an adult. And it's really cool that, you know, at being, you know, the age that I'm at, we really grew up in an era where, you know, video game technology was growing with us. So when we started, we were playing games like Super Mario, Final Fantasy 1. You know, we were, you know, kids, so that stuff really just blew our minds. We used our imagination to make it look better in our heads, you know, the little pixels. Yeah, we can go back and play them, and we still enjoy them. Partially because of nostalgia, and partially because some of those games that we actually sit there and we enjoy were because we were, you know, they were good games, and there's that little bit of nostalgia there. And then, you know, if you're my age, you know, early 30s here, the games like Chrono Trigger, Super Metroid, A Link to the Past, they became a bit more mature in terms of storytelling. And, you know, we're pre-teens at this point in time. You know, early mid 90s, we're getting, you know, close to that preteen age bracket. So like we have that going on, and you know the games are kind of growing with us. So when we hit Nintendo 64, PlayStation, you know, you get in teenage years, so the games are growing with us. You know, it's really cool when you think about that. It's unfortunate though that, you know, because most of I know there were, you know, home consoles and arcade cabinets before, you know, I was born, but like, you know, home gaming as a whole really kind of grew, you know, with this generation. So it's really cool to go back and play a game or an early entry in a franchise that you love, and you see all the changes from it. And unfortunately, Chrono Trigger is not a franchise; it's a standalone game. It really is. And the nice thing I like about a lot of RPGs, like a lot of RPG franchises, I absolutely love it, is you don't have to play every game in the series. I know that sounds kind of silly to say, like, what do you mean you don't have to play every game in the series? Final Fantasy, you know, every Final Fantasy game is its own individual Final Fantasy game. All the Dragon Quest games are their own individual Dragon Quest games. All the, you know, Tales games are their own individual Tales games. The Persona games, Shin Megami Tensei, they're all their own individual game. So you can just play a random one. Like, if we really want to, we could just play Persona 4 and never play another game in the series because they're not tied together. That's one really cool thing about these RPGs, is that you can invest a single block of time into one of these games and, you know, not have to worry about, oh man, I don't want to get into this game because it's a series, and I don't want to have to sit there and, you know, feel obligated to play you know, every single game in the franchise. Now, of course, you know, you could be like me where you actually kind of want to do that. With certain franchises, if they were to make a sequel to Chrono Trigger, sign me up, you know. I play almost every Final Fantasy game, you know, in the last couple of generations. Maybe when I was a little younger, I never finished them, but, you know, I played them. I'm looking, if there's any RPGs you guys are actually looking forward to coming out in the next year or so, let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I think 2021 is going to be a very interesting year for gaming because we're going to see that actual legitimate step into the, I guess, what, the 9th generation of gaming consoles. So it's like the 5th PlayStation and like the 4th Xbox. We're going to see that evolution. We're going to see that next big step, and I think games are going to take a nice big leap into the next generation. I'm curious to see what you guys are looking forward to. If you guys are looking forward to, like, you know, what genres I think are going to be more successful in the next generation, what genres are going to flop and fail. I think we're going to see a lot of interesting changes over the next few years in terms of that, and I'm really interested to see because I know like a lot of people are really getting into that indie games, you know, the indie games and the retro games, or more retro-looking games like Undertale in the last few years. I'm already not liking this fight. These guys are combo countering me. I don't know what that means. I don't know why they're doing it. I just know they're doing it, and I don't like it. We need to make it stop. Please. We need to make this stop. And like I said, we're slowly progressing through this dungeon here. Not much else going on right now. And I say dungeon, I'm being very lenient with the term. In terms of, you know, what it is. This is not a dungeon crawling RPG by any means. I like how that's actually like a legitimate like definition for some RPGs, is dungeon crawler. You could argue to an effect, you know, a sense that Persona is a dungeon crawling type RPG. Mainly Persona 3. That is definitely a dungeon crawler. If there ever was one. I'm really hoping they do a port of that to PC in the near future. That would actually be really cool. So I'm already getting annoyed by this fight. I feel like I don't know what the best course of action is with these two. I guess they're like ninja guards. They are combo countering me whenever we attack them. If we attack both of them, I guess if we attack one individually, they don't combo counter, since, you know, we're not attacking both. And there we go, we could get out of that fight. Ah! That's a lot of experience points. I don't think I've seen a lot of fights that give us that much experience points. Over 1,000. It doesn't sound like much for this game, or for an RPG in general, but because of how Chrono Trigger is set up, that is a lot of experience points. Okay, so they all move down here, and we're going to get into a ridiculous fight. Alright. I already don't like this. This is very frustrating. Because I know what they're going to do. I know they're going to do combo counters. And I already don't like that. So if there's two things I don't like in this last dungeon, it's the combination of combo counters, and it's also the addition of that, you know, that having your HP move. Don't give me that. I don't like that. It actually is something I really am not a huge fan of in this game already. Overall, as a whole, though, I'm really enjoying my time playing this game. I just don't know. I just don't know. And there we go, we took care of that fight. Feeling good now, feeling good. I was worried, that was pretty tough. You see, I feel like we're gonna get to this like last section of the game, you know, the final boss and stuff, and I feel like we're gonna get slaughtered. Like, we're not having as hard of a time as I would think we would be at this point in the game, but I just feel like we're gonna have a hard time when we get to like that boss, you know, whatever it is. When we have to fight, I think we actually do have to fight Lavos. I feel like Lavos is gonna own us, and I'm really concerned about that. I also like how I can walk down the stairs sideways. That's pretty sweet. I do not want to get into a fight right now. And I don't know what's going on. But we are getting into a fight. I don't like that. That was cheap. That was very cheap. This game is definitely on the cheap side there. Holy cow. I like how the combat system, the way the characters are moving around. It does kind of frustrate me to an extent, so I'm trying to figure out how they're doing the combo counters, because we're within a certain area. So if we're in a certain area, well, no, I see, it doesn't make sense. And these guys are called monks. They are called monks. Did not know that. We're gonna try to finish this fight. There we go. We got through the fight. There we go. We got through the fight, guys. And let's see what's going down here. If there's more stuff. I feel like there's gonna be more. Yep. Nope. No, just this guy. A mini boss guy. Summons more things. Not in the mood to deal with this. Alright, if I do lightning 2, will it work? We're gonna find out. I don't want to get combo countered at this point in time. And we are. And that's like I said, the combo counter in this is so annoying. Like, that's a good way to kind of, no, I don't want to say like turn people off from playing the game, but it kind of does its trick. Oh my goodness. And there's 4 of them and 3 of us, and I think it's going to take us at least 2 turns to finish these guys off. And since we're not playing on an emulator, we're not going to be able to kind of fast forward the fight. Which is terrible. I do want to be able to do that. We're actually going to probably call it a break here, guys. I want to thank you all for watching my blind playthrough for Chrono Trigger. My name's been Anger Banjo. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. I have more Chrono Trigger coming your way.